Hello. Okay. Oh, okay.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Your Excellency, it's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Okay.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. So how are you doing, Your Excellency? Okay. Talk about your activity. So, how about your activity in Indonesia, in Jakarta?
You know, for me it's quite new. I've arrived now in September last year.
Okay.
So it's been 6 months. And I would say very interesting and enjoyable.
Okay.
You are living in a fabulous country.
Okay.
I'm sure you know that.
Okay. Talk about Jakarta. Oke. Pemirsa, apa kabar Anda? Saya Lewis hadir kembali di Diplomasi, dan pemirsa, saat ini saya berada di kediaman Duta Besar Belgia untuk Indonesia, dan saat ini saya bersama dengan Your Excellency Mr. Stephane De Loecker.
Yes.
Okay. Your Excellency, talk about the Indonesia, talk about the Jakarta. Okay. How do you see Indonesia? How do you see Jakarta?
Let's begin by Jakarta.
Okay.
Because, you know, when I meet with Jakartans, you know, since the beginning, everyone is always saying, you know, you will see traffic, you will see pollution.
Okay.
I know, and it's true. Okay, you have a transport problem in Jakarta, we all know it, fine.
Okay.
This being said, the whole of Indonesia, and Jakarta in particular, has to cope with a huge population.
Okay.
So it's no surprise. So I would ask Jakartans who are looking at us to please, you know, that you share your problem with us, that's fine. But let's consider that in many countries, in particular in Asia, where it's so much populated, overpopulated sometimes, the same problem exists.
Okay.
The most positive aspect for me is, first of all, the friendliness of people.
Okay.
Yes. And this is extremely important. I've been traveling all over in the world, and Jakarta or elsewhere in Indonesia, the friendliness of people is extremely important.
Okay.
It's a major positive aspect of your country. Also, in Jakarta, you can find everything, which is not the case in other countries. Of course, you need to be able to pay for it. I understand.
Okay.
And I know it is a problem for many people living here, but let's not underestimate. What I would say, if Jakarta and the country could do something more on education, and your president, the government, the governor, they all know it.
Okay.
Education needs to be improved.
Okay.
It's difficult to find skilled people in the country.
Okay, that's your opinion about Jakarta. Your Excellency, okay, have you traveled in Indonesia, besides Jakarta, of course?
Sure.
Okay.
The first time I came to Jakarta, to Indonesia, it was something like 20 years ago.
Okay.
Wow. Simply because every foreigner, and never forget that, dreams of coming to Bali.
Okay.
Or to Lombok, because Lombok is even better than...
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, you have beautiful places here. And so I came like a tourist to Bali, to Lombok, to other places.
Okay.
And, you know, when it was time for me to change posting and to come, I was asking to my minister, Mr. Minister, please send me to Indonesia. And he was so kind.
Okay. Your Excellency, comparing the 20 years ago with the present of Indonesia and Jakarta now. Okay, how about your opinion about the develop of Indonesia, develop of Jakarta?
Sure. Okay. Not an easy question. I will try to be simple. The country has developed tremendously over and changed in 20 years' time. Let's not forget, in 20 years ago, you were not a democracy, and now you are. So, democracy creates sometimes problems, we know that, but that's the way we see things develop. From the economic side, also, there are still bottlenecks in the economic development, we know it, there is still corruption, we know that, but in the meantime, you know, coming from other countries, one of the reasons I wanted to come here is because there is this positive spirit. People want to go ahead. They know that they have problems, but problems is part of life, isn't it? And that's why, and I feel it. I feel, you know, this will of going ahead, forward.
Okay, going forward for Indonesia and Jakarta.
Yeah.
Talk about the Belgium. May I?
Sure, okay. Of course, then, with pleasure.
Okay.
Join me, let's have a seat.
Okay, thank you so much. Iya, pemirsa bicara mengenai Belgia. Oke, ini sepertinya hampir mirip sama seperti Indonesia, begitu ya. Penuh dengan keberagaman, tapi memiliki persatuan yang begitu kuat, begitu ya. Unity in diversity. Oke, talk about the Belgian language. Oke, kita tahu bahwa officially language di Belgia itu mereka memiliki 3 bahasa. Ya, ada Jerman, kemudian juga ada Belanda, kemudian juga ada bahasa Prancis. Oke, 3 official languages in Belgium. Oke, so how do you think about that?
We are a country of diversity.
Yeah.
Just like Indonesia, our history made it that many people from Europe and outside of Europe came to Europe. To Belgium. And in our case, we indeed have 2 major, what we call communities, language communities, not religious. The French-speaking one and the Dutch-speaking one. And the German was added up after the Second World War. And we just cope with it. But that's a reason why Belgian people feel so tolerant, because basically in their daily life they have to deal with people of different languages, different religions. You're saying 3 languages?
Yes.
This is true. In total, in Belgium, we have 160 nationalities. In Belgium, we speak more than 80 languages in total, not official. But simply when you enter a place, don't be surprised to hear people speaking languages from all over the world.
Is it correlated, the languages with the culture in Belgium?
Yes, and that's why I brought some little examples of the diversity that we have in art also. We were influenced by cultures coming from all over Europe. Since the 12th century, so we are talking 800 years ago, and still now we have our own style, and I will just show you maybe some examples. This is very classical in the sense of European art, a very refined design. This is my daughter, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And so this is classical. And we also have many museums in which you can still see different aspects of Belgian, European, international art. Let's start with the Belgian one. This is the Belgian coast, in the sense that we are a country very small compared to Indonesia. Let's be always very clear on this. We only have 60 kilometers of coast, whereas you have thousands. Not that. But you know, basically, you know, in the centuries before, our people, the Belgian people, has always looked to the sea, looked to what is behind the sea, and so that's why even our artists nowadays they still paint the Belgian coast. Another example is this one. You know, from the artistic point of view, this is just, you know, one example of the kind of special Belgian art that you can find in the museums. This is a painting dating from the 19th century. But again, you can see it's a scene happening at the sea. Because sea is part of our life. And because Belgians are very special people, you know. And so we are what we call surrealistic. What does it mean? That means that when we paint or when we create, it's not about, you know, just, it's not a photography. What we like is just create something different from what we see. And then you have this kind of stuff, completely, you know, it's not reality because you have some lights over there, but you clearly see that there's a blue sky. So there's something nonsense in it. Well, this is our nonsense.
Okay.
And Belgium likes to be nonsense, but not from the economic point of view, I'm sure.
Oke, iya. Pemirsa, keberagaman budaya dari Belgia ini tentunya membawa pengaruh juga bagi budaya di Belgia sendiri. Tadi sudah dijelaskan begitu ya, mulai dari pantainya begitu ya, kemudian juga ada seninya. How about the music? Bagaimana dengan musik?
True. Let me show this, because I couldn't invite a musician today, unfortunately. But we have famous musicians in the classical, but also in the very modern and contemporary art. And the creation is always important. Art for us, in all forms, you know, music, painting, dancing, whatever, is part of life. I'm dancing myself. I hope you do too.
Okay, I like dancing. Okay, exactly. You can teach me about that.
And you know, in my free time, I love to play cello. Because to me, but this is European. I know there's no cello culture in Indonesia, but it's simply to tell you that for us, it's just part of life. You have your job, of course, you have your family, extremely important. And art is also a part of it.
Okay.